Yo, what's good guys, I'm Fire here, back from another video, and today we're going to be hopping into another College Football 26 video. Today we're going to be going over what I think is probably the best defense to run right now in the game. It is a super easy blitz and coverage combo, and I think it is very difficult to stop when you build the right game plan around it. Now, the formation we're going to be in is one of the new ones in the game this year, nickel 2-4 load mug. I'm sure some of you have seen it at some point. It is very, very dangerous. Very good. Now this formation is in 3-2-6, it is in 3-3-5 tight, it is in 3-4 and 3-4 multiple. So it's in a lot of playbooks, which definitely helps, especially if you're trying to use it in regs. Obviously in cut, you can use this whenever you would like. And yeah, very dangerous. Now the play that I like to run this out of is going to be this cover 6, wherever it is on the left-hand side there. Now my below, actually. So the cover 6, I like running it out of this play. Really, I think it works out of every play. I'll probably try it out with the 2-man under, but I like cover 6 because I think it's the best shell in the game. Just to kind of adjust out of makes it super easy. You don't have to run a lot of coverage adjustments, but feel free to run it out of whatever you would like. I'm going to test it probably at the end, make sure it does work out of 2-man under and some of those other defenses. But this is a low-risk blitz because you don't really have to send all that much pressure. So let's just jump straight into it. No funny business, no audibles, nothing we really crazily need to do. And let's try and find a good play to run. Which play did I run when I was testing it? Well, let's just run high-low dig. So, first thing that you will see is just a basic look. You have your user on the line of scrimmage, and again, you are going to be using this player. So we're going to be using him. And then we can take a look at what we have. Now, it looks like our cover 4 is already pressed. That's fine, because what we're going to do is just press anyways. And then what I like to do is go ahead and show blitz. The way you're going to do that is press R1 and R1 again. That's going to show blitz. And then I like to contain, which is going to be R1 and L1. So it's going to look like this. Now, obviously, this blitz is actually not going to work if you just run it stock, because you're really just rushing your basic 4 people. Although you do see, the coverage is pretty good, just stock. So what do you want to do to actually get this to work even better? You're going to press, and we're going to have to rush an extra guy. Now, there will be a way to get pressure rushing 4, but we'll show that a little bit later. But we're going to show a way to get pressure rushing 5 first. And this way is not necessarily foolproof. So again, you're going to show blitz, contain, and then you're actually going to manually blitz this A player. And then, so like if I hover here, we should get a loop, and boom. So that's pretty much all you have to do. All we did was manually blitz that guy. We pinched our defense. We showed blitz, and then we QB contained. So I'll go over those again slowly. I like to press, or I guess you could just pinch the whole defense by pressing. Or how do you pinch the whole defense this year? Maybe you can't. But whatever, it doesn't, I guess just, so yeah, press, sorry about that, and then, I guess you could pinch the linebackers, that doesn't really matter though, and then what you're going to do is press R1 and R1 again, which is going to be show blitz, and then you're going to QB contain, which is RB and then LB, and then all you have to do is manually blitz A, which is going to be D-pad to the right twice, A or X on PlayStation, and then down on the right analog stick, and now you see he is in that loop. Could you bring him down a little bit? Sure, you also could. It doesn't really matter all that much. But this is going to be kind of our first way to run this blitz. And again, you're going to be using this guy. You don't really have to hover. It doesn't matter because he's not going to get picked up anyway. You see, sometimes you'll even get a quicker shed than you even have time for that looping player to come in. But I'll show you guys the next way to run this, which is even better. So, boom. He is simply going to loop in. He doesn't take the greatest angle. Sometimes you could also get faster players in that spot. I didn't check the personnel at all, but you could definitely get someone that's a little bit quicker in that position. And also, I want to take this time to remind you guys to hit the like button on this video if this content is definitely helping you guys get better. Also, subscribe to the channel down below. About 70% of you guys that watch my videos are actually not subscribed at this time. Let's get that number to about 50%. Make sure you guys hit that subscribe button. But yeah, so overall, very simple setup. But how do we make this even better? Now, I haven't even gone over anything coverage. We're just going over the blitz, but we have a cover 6. Now, kind of what happens when I blitz that player is we get rid of the three receiver hook. And that can be concerning. Like, let's not even set up the blitz, but let's just kind of focus. That can be concerning if he can hit anything quick over the middle, a drag, a slant. If I have to go and defend the running back with my user, then it could be concerning for sure. So how do we take care of this, and how do we make this a little bit better? And we've seen that I don't necessarily need to hover. I kind of like staying there just to have every defense look the same, but I don't have to. I could, of course, stand here, help out with him, but then maybe the running back gets open on the left if he's on a streak because we have no vert hook. How do we make this cover 6 play even better? And what we're going to do is set up everything the exact same. Show blitz. We're going to blitz that linebacker. And then we are going to contain. Now, you see for some reason also sometimes he will actually have like an inside angle. If he does, he's basically just going to loop the other way. It should still work, but it's fine. So how do we take this to the next level? What I like to do is actually put this XD lineman in a vert hook. So the way you can do that is double tap D-pad to the left, press that X or square icon, and down on the left analog stick is going to put him in a vert hook. And also, if I was in like this trips look, I could also man him up maybe on the running back. So you want athletic DNs because obviously if this is flipped, maybe the other guy's going to go in coverage. So you want kind of good athletic edge rushers that can also have some speed, some athleticism in coverage if need be. So now we're going to run it the exact same way. Let's snap the football, and that loop is going to come in. Now the loop isn't, again, the fastest thing in the world, but it gets the job done. It is effective, and that is all we need. And let's take a look at our coverage on the back end. Is the coverage good? Now, again, sure, you could throw it to him. We could obviously adjust and defend that. Everything else, I mean, one of the better routes in the game, this zig route, that is blanketed. In route, covered, streak, taken by the inside quarter, and then we even have deep safety help over the top if need be. So everything is taken care of. And again, we could adjust against the trips look. Something that I would maybe recommend doing is, again, you could like man up him, and then I still can free range user this player and really go wherever I want. And again, cover 2 plays very well this year deep against different routes. So overall, we get some sheds. Really, we get 3 people there free. And also just the way that, because you're blitzing so many people on the right side, sometimes you will get those disengagements as well. So here, I mean, we just get kind of 2 quick block sheds, but sometimes you will get disengagements, and you see how his left tackle and his left guard are blocking nobody. That is exactly what we love to see. So as far as this goes, there's a few different ways you can also adjust on the back end, but obviously if they block the running back, let's take a look at this. Let's say they do block the running back, because of course that is a possibility, my friends. And this is what I mean, like sometimes he's on this angle. Let's actually try it out with him on that angle. I don't know if it'll up. So it does kind of update. Maybe when you contain it, like takes him off. I don't know. Sometimes he will just be on that weird angle, but maybe it just has to update. Whatever. So let's say they block the running back. Let's run kind of the first setup that we had. So of course, if they start blocking the running back, I can kind of sprint over to the right a little bit easier. But I think the way you want to do it is you do want to make sure that you kind of hover a little bit. We obviously get a quick shed, I believe, there, but it looked like the looper was going to come through, and maybe the running back picks him up, but nonetheless, it's going to make him move in the pocket. So I think he gets bumped by the tight end here. Just a little bit unfortunate. That's just a straight glitch disengage. That had nothing to do. Number 74 wanted to pick up our looper. He actually took him, and then what happened is we got free. So he gets free. The running back had to pick him up because 74 ended up blocking nobody, and we got the pressure regardless. So that is just easy pressure. Let's say they block their running back, and we still want to go with the... Let's say we still want to go with the... the 3-man setup, or the 4-man setup, rather. Let's see how this works. And, of course, it does get picked up a little bit easier. So if you notice them blocking the running back, you generally do want to blitz that extra guy. And it's still not a guarantee that it'll come in, but it is something that will help. Now, as far as backside adjustments, what can you do for this in the backside to make it a little bit even better? That's not good English. Let's actually try this with this looping guy going to the other side. And if he is blitzing to the other side, it does get even better. So I don't know why sometimes he does blitz to the opposite side. I guess if you just straight up blitz him with no adjustments, because if we show blitz, oh, I guess he still does. So maybe it's when I contain, he like moves to the other side. So if you get him blitzing to this side, he should loop some of the time. You saw it worked really well there. I didn't really hover on that play, which is probably why it didn't work as well. So overall, I think it's a little bit better for him to be going to the outside. But obviously, let's try it again here. So when you contain, it kind of does tend to move him. But going back to my point before I got on that tangent is Some of the things I like to do on the back end is one adjustment is to actually put B in a clarified on the right and then put L1 in a deep half. This creates a nice little cover 2, cover 4 look. So it's a little bit safer. So we can go vert hook, and then of course I would play the middle of the field here. It's important that I watch deep, but those deep halves do a pretty good job of covering ground this year. So let's take a look at our coverage. I would be watching A, and then I would probably come down to B. But overall, our coverage is pretty solid there. And it's just kind of a different look if he gets if he's trying to like beat your outside quarters deep. Also, it gives you some help on the outside on the right if he's getting something open over there. Again, I could also I could still be manning up the running back if I want. I'm going to take him, although the deep half kind of ends up moving over there, so I would have followed him, which is what you could kind of see me start to do. And overall, we play a good defense. Now, let's say we want to try an audible. Let's audible to just a Tampa 2 and see how it affects things. Now, I already noticed some of the D linemen shift. I don't know if that's going to cause any issues, but let's show Blitz. Let's blitz him again, and now he's kind of going to the inside, it looks like, but we contain. Now it looks like he's back in the normal spot. And the loop should still come through. So you could really run it out of any play. I generally do prefer the cover 6. I do want to try it out of a 2-man under, and honestly, if it does work out of the 2-man under, maybe I make a separate video on it because it could be very good if there even is a 2-man under. Yeah, 2-man under right there on the right. So let's try it again. And again, you're already pressed. Now the concerning thing here is, it's like, what do we do with our user? Because I could probably just user one of these players, and what I would do is hope that it comes through with standard hover. So again, I'm going to show Blitz. I'm going to Blitz A. I am going to contain. It's going to look like this. And then probably what I'm going to do is man up A on A, and I'm just going to user him. So everything is technically taken care of. I would probably shade over the top, yada, yada, yada. And the loop blitz does still come through, so you could get it to work in a 2-man under. I think it's a little less effective than zone, but we could play around with it maybe in another video. But if you guys did enjoy, hit that like, subscribe to the channel down below, and peace. I'm out of here.